tricky.
Right, approaching 20 to 9. For generations, Scouts have spent their summers camping outdoors, toasting marshmallows on open fires and canoeing across the lakes. Brings back memories of my teenage years. Sadly, during the pandemic, groups across the world are missing out on the things that they enjoy the most.
Now, not to be defeated, the Scouts have tried to recreate the fun with a huge digital summer camp this weekend. Our Kayla, Robert Hall, is with a family taking part in their garden in Jersey. Morning, Robert. How's it looking?
It's looking good. I was just visualising Roger there as a teenager in his Cub Scout uniform. Anyway, we'll leave that by. What you are missing out on by being there and not here is the fact that I've had my breakfast now, and it's a bacon butty. One of the nicest things about camping is breakfast, and a bacon butty off an open fire. Absolutely brilliant, plus a large amount of coffees. Anyway, back to the present. This little group here, who we're going to hear from in a moment, are just one part of this huge operation, this huge global operation to try and bring Scouts together at the end of a time which has really been quite hard for a lot of young people. A lot of talk of the stress that they've been under, in some cases real mental issues as a result of lockdown. And what Scouting's trying to do is to break through, get young people together again virtually on the internet in this giant exercise. So let's just get a taste of what they're calling the Great Indoors Weekender. Friends, shared experiences and the great outdoors, the threads which run through Scouting, particularly at this time of year. Summer 2020 has a very different feel. Campsites and buildings are empty and silent, Scout meetings suspended, friends forced apart. But this weekend, they're pitching their tents again, rather closer to home. The call's gone out, and well over 100,000 Scouts have answered it. In countries around the world, they're setting up camp inside and outside their homes. A virtual jamboree with online challenges to match.
I am Isaac. First Moss Rex and Beavers. This is my stay-at-home jungle camp that I will be sleeping in this week.
Ben and Annabelle have pitched their tent in their Jersey front garden. They, like thousands of other young people, have experienced the stresses of lockdown.
I haven't been able to see my friends. I spend a lot of time outdoors, so it's been weird being in the house a lot, and I've really missed seeing lots of people.
It's definitely been tough, going from seeing people every day and scouting nearly 3 times a week to not seeing anyone at all, and it's been even harder because my workload from school has increased.
And we're making campfire dessert. I have carefully made a campfire to roast yummy marshmallows on. Never play near a fire. This is our midnight snack. We also was planning to have a midnight feast, but me and Tara are too tired.
The key to this is a feeling of mutual support. Scouts may be thousands of miles apart, but there are new friends to be found, along with help and advice.
It's so good that we can all get together like this and take part in these activities. I know for a lot of you it's been hard staying indoors and away from our friends.
If the lows are outweighing the highs, ask for help. It's not a weakness. We all need a hug and help carrying our worries from time to time.
It's been a long day and I'm sitting with my electric campfire, warming up.
The virtual campfire's over, the tents and duvets are being packed away, but those scouting threads have been rediscovered just when they were most needed. Well, you don't really need the campfire this morning. It is so nice here. Glenn, you're the Island Commissioner here, so you get a bit of an overview. What did you think about it when they rang you and said, look, we're going to try this?
I thought it was an absolutely fantastic idea. Opportunity to get people together all online, because it's been very difficult during the lockdown period in terms of socialising, and people's mental health has been affected because they can't get together and be social. So having something that brings everyone together virtually online is absolutely fantastic.
Megan, lockdown, I know we're lucky here in Jersey, things have relaxed a bit, but lockdown was hard, wasn't it? What was it? What did you find the hardest part?
The hardest part wasn't seeing our family and trying to see our friends, but
you couldn't see your granny, could you?
No.
And did you talk to your friends on the phone, or what did you do? Yeah.
We talked to the people on the phone.
And was that enough, or was that not the same as being able to get together?
Not the same, because we're still at a house. No people, just people are there on the phone. Can't see their smiley faces.
What about you, Edgar? How's it been for you?
It's definitely much better now that we can see our friends and our family. Even if we do have to still social distance, at least we can see them and talk to them. And we can always do.
What do you think about this as an idea, Edgar? Getting this sort of virtual camp?
I think it's a great idea because you feel like you're part of the camp, even if you're not set up right next to somebody else. Everyone's still doing it at the same time, and everyone's doing all the same activities, which then you can share with all your friends.
Glenn, I was chatting, we heard Ben and Annabelle on my report there talking about how hard it's been for them, but also talking about, they told me about the use of Zoom. It's really taken off, and we all know that Zoom has been so useful in so many ways. Can you see scouting, if and when we come out of this, and certainly in the period when we're still dealing with the pandemic, keeping to social media, keeping a different way of doing things?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the likes of Zoom or Teams or anything like that has been absolutely vital in keeping everyone together and allowing people to connect through scouting. And it's going to be part of that transition anyway, when people still can't meet face to face. And even afterwards, I think it's going to be a huge part in terms of making sure people can stay connected and communicate, whether it's for the meetings between the leaders and young people, or whether it's people having to meet as adults to help scouting in whatever fashion they need to.
Thank you all very much for letting me into your campsite. Just before we go, and apologies if people watching earlier and hear this again, but I think it's really interesting. The Channel Islands were occupied during the Second World War. This is the 80th anniversary, actually, this year, when the Germans arrived. And they banned all uniformed organisations, including Scouts. The Scouts weren't allowed to meet, but the movement here kept going because people met in their homes in secret then. So in a way, there's a parallel here, scouting under pressure, unable to meet, and yet finding a way around it. I think that's really interesting. Anyway, that's it from a very sunny, small campsite here in Jersey. Back to you guys.
Robert, thank you very much indeed. It does look absolutely glorious this morning. As Robert says, you don't really need the campfire, but we're talking in the introduction about the Scouts and camping overnight and canoeing across crystal lakes and practising all that.